Did he actually just say that? Okay. We're gonna moving on. Yeah, so I had the idea for the stream, but I don't actually know Warhammer 40k very well. So I invited these two to help.
We are happy to lend a hand in any way we can.
Yeah. I've got some
Yeah, so-
intense insider knowledge to share with y'all today.
Yes. Also, apologies. We could not get Vapebot onto
Vapebot,
the stream in image form.
Vapebot has
Because she
become
is very
unperceivable. She's lost
I
the
have-
ability to be seen.
I am now a static two-dimensional PNG.
If she turns sideways, I'll lose her.
I can't even get her PNG to work. That's how cursed she is.
How is a PNG unloaded on your end?
Oh god.
I cannot download this. Every
Have
time
file
I click
formats.
save image, nothing happens.
You cannot grasp the true form of Vapebot's attack.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait.
She's inside the
Okay.
mainframe.
It worked that time.
Pog!
Get your static PNG.
Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. We got Audire here, and Vapebot has broken the dimensions again.
I do this all the time.
Anything that gets tipped will be dropped through vape gas
gosh.
first.
He's really big.
I am extremely large!
Oh,
I have
God.
become cosmic!
I
There you go. Now you're more appropriately sized.
mean, you becoming cosmic makes sense, given where we are right now.
I'm basically a nebula.
You're a vape nebula? Thank you for the one spiced bit! Oh my god. We're in for a ride.
Right. Sure. So, let's see, we get started.
Alrighty then. If we're gonna get started, let's zoom on over to the list.
So this is our list. Okay. Vapebot's not here yet.
Oh god. Where has she
Hello?
gone? Where has she gone?
Where did I go?
Oh my gosh, where did you go?
Oh god! She's very large. I'm looking at
There
not
you
one
go.
but two chats at the
Now you're
same
appropriately
time.
sized again.
Also,
Anyways,
I hope you don't mind, but
sorry?
oh,
go ahead. Sorry.
I hope you don't mind, but I did post you guys' links in the Automatuba's chat,
Oh,
saying like,
God.
"Hey, we're live right now."
I am sorry, but apparently I can't edit my description and put in my guys' links.
You're fine.
Meowdy Varus! Welcome to the nightmare.
Apologies for that. So anyways, this will be our tier list. So, on the right is the list. On the left is the list. I'll get my left and right mixed up a lot. On the right is the criteria we'll be using to rank these.
Oh. Oh, thank god.
So,
I had so many terrible ideas.
so the first one, most important, is the size/mass, because that's the most important factor in whether how effective something is as a projectile. Obviously, denser objects will be better, but overall, mass is the most important thing. Just how big it is. Second one is shape. This doesn't really matter too much for damage, but it does matter a lot for accuracy. Especially if they tend to flail while they're flying through the air. That might interfere with their trajectory.
After all,
And so
you can't spin something that's oblong.
Yeah, so we like these with that are close to the center of mass and not too many limbs.
I mean, if it has a lot of
If there
wings, it
are
could be
limbs,
fin stabilized, after all.
I don't
yeah,
know
if
if
there
fin
are
stabilization
limbs,
works in space.
I
you
mean,
prefer them to be short.
in space,
And hopefully,
it doesn't matter.
they can fit in the barrels very well. Because if you don't, that can be a problem too. Okay, the third one, just numbers. How common are these units? How many of them can we get? And similarly, the fourth one is logistics. How easy they are to get. I guess you can combine these two.
Oh,
But logistics is also like how easy are they to store? For example, humans are very easily anesthetized, and so they're easy to store and you don't really fight back when you do that. So we can store them in tight environments. Finally, just anything else that might make something more effective or less. Oh, I forgot to tweet that stream. Let me do that right now.
meowdy, Casey, meowdy, Lucius, welcome to the stream. Things are about to go insane.
For the record, Tommy, she said very easily anesthetized or knocked out.
Yes, anesthetized. A steady drip of fentanyl.
It's kind of messed up that you like. It's kind of messed up that you leave them alive, but just like in a state where they can't quite feel pain or stop you. But you still do like leave them alive before you shove them into the vacuum.
I mean, I think that maybe we should leave the guardmen awake so that they can do one silly thing. Oh, that's alright. Tell Omega I say hello, and that if he loses, I'm gonna laugh at him.
It's okay. We can wake them up right before we shoot them.
Wakey, wakey, into the breach with you. Huh?
So we can like store them and for when we need them.
I don't recall installing the X-Files theme on my sound alerts. But I did hit with
Okay,
it.
so anyways, so this is our first unit. I don't know what it is, but I know it's a towel of some kind.
That would be a Tau crisis suit.
Ooh, default spooky synth. We have a Tau crisis suit first off, which is basically a mini mech.
It's a mech, but it's like for short people, yeah.
Yeah, it's a mech for manlets and cow people.
They're notably not particularly dense as far as like mobile combat walkers are, specifically such that they can perform in-atmosphere jumps.
They're very fast, is what we're... Oh my god, can I please have my display working right now? They're very fast, in other words.
They're highly maneuverable, but low impact.
So for size and mass, they wouldn't really be that large. I mean, it's only about... a
15-footer?
Yeah, a handful worth of, like, the soldiers that go inside of it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'd be particularly great for, like... It would not be particularly great for Nut. Thank you, guys.
What?
Someone played a stream.
Topic has changed?
Huh?
I thought we were doing the ammunition tier list.
Nut.
Okay, actually, I do have one question before we continue about the methods by which you propel these creatures. Is it some sort of, like, magnetic acceleration, or a really big piston that chucks things like a baseball bat? Flywheels?
Well, we're versatile. We can use whatever. Some of them we might use, like, conventional chemical propellants.
Oh,
We can also use...
that means that we could put
drivers,
certain things in a
magnets.
giant slingshot.
Yes.
Perfect.
Whatever works. I'm versatile.
Feasibility of delivery does not matter. The only thing that matters is how good they are once you get them going.
Correct. I think that a crisis suit... Okay, here's my first unfiltered thoughts about a crisis suit as the insider. You could really only shoot one of them at a time out of a weapon, but It would be like deploying a bullet that can shoot things on the way there.
That's to be true of a lot of what we're doing here.
I mean, yes, but they're a little more like uniquely suited for that right off the bat. It'd be like those missions in Armored Core where you have the giant booster on you.
They are in fact able to survive in vacuum and continue firing and aiming.
It has a
And if
six-
you tell
That makes them a little better.
And if you tell them it's for the greater good, they will willingly hop inside your gun.
I think that uniquely, yeah, and they also have a really varied loadout. So I think, I mean, also the Tau Empire has a lot of them.
Yeah, they're like Shinzo Abe's dream.
God.
Okay, so
I personally think that like you can only shoot one at a time, but it would be like a rapid fire smart bullet. And the shape wouldn't too much matter. It's got thrusters all over it anyway. I think this has to go up in like A or S tier in all honesty.
They literally have vector to retro thrusters as one of the point upgrades.
okay, so it sounds like they're very good. The only thing holding them back is that they don't really do a whole lot of damage on impact.
Yeah.
They don't need to explode.
I still think it would go A tier just for the sheer utility. Because it could do a lot of chip damage to multiple targets as opposed to just slam into one fucker.
Imagine firing a missile that hates missiles.
I
Wow.
think that makes sense. I think S tier should be like great at everything. If they're only great at one thing, or if they're not great at one thing.
I mean, if you shoot a crisis suit at something small, it will obliterate it. That's why I want to put it in A tier.
A feels about
I
right.
think A tier is fine.
Alright.
Alright, we'll put that in A tier.
A for ammunition.
S for smash.
Hey, thanks what you mean.
D for doesn't leave a
Alright.
scratch.
Our next one is a shootable,
Ooh.
which is an orc.
So these are about what, 1.5 meters tall on average. They're pretty heavy. They are literally a mushroom that has a gun.
I think that's actually a little short.
Oh shit,
Aren't you-
2 meters tall.
Aren't you like 2 meters tall?
Me?
I might be forgetting how big a meter is. A meter's like a little in the
I'm
range
so
of a yard,
dumb.
right?
I'm so dumb. You're right. I'm just trying to I'm not good at converting from imperial to metric. The average orc shooter boy is like how tall?
So the
It's like
average,
7 feet.
They're big boys.
the average American male is 1.77 meters tall.
Okay. So orcs are like orc shooter boys are big boys. They're big bulky boys. They're also mushrooms. And here's the thing. They can literally put on hats to make them better ammunition. These are orcs
do
we're
that.
talking about. They would do that. They do that in the canon. You could just give them a pointy hat and throw them at something and they'll stick into it and start cutting. Uniquely, because they are what they believe in makes them better in areas. Yeah, they have a little psychic manipulation of reality. So if they think that wearing a pointy hat makes them a better bullet, they are a better bullet. And if you paint them red before you shoot them, they go fast.
If you paint them yellow, they explode harder too.
Yeah.
So if you give them like ketchup and mustard, they become a uniquely potent ammunition for a
Hi,
thing that's made of
robot.
meat.
Hi, Brobot. You're gonna be here for a little bit. I'm sorry. Most of
So
the
I
Necrons
feel
are
like they'd be a little hard to store though, because don't orcs like to fight each other?
They are the ideal.
They'll fight each other, but that's also how they reproduce. So if you just like quarantine off their storage container, you could have an infinite supply of little dudes.
Oh, here's the best part about like the numbers is like that. Yeah, you could quarantine off the storage containers, but if you put like 4 of them in like a cartridge, give them a pointy hat, you'll get like 20 of them when you shoot it.
I don't think they'd work well as like a main battle cannon, but they'd work really, really well as basically like living flak.
A shotgun
Or, like,
or
point defense.
yeah, flak. They're a shrapnel shell basically.
Okay.
Logistics wise, they're cheap as hell. They make themselves and they find metal where there shouldn't be any. So, if anything, you should just like load it like an automatic shotgun.
Well, it sounds like they're pretty good then.
Yeah.
Well, Most of these guys, I think S or E tier.
Yeah, I think this is
Sounds
another.
like-
This is a solid A. They wouldn't be able to do like solve too many problems, but
But
the
they would
problems that
cause
they
the
solve
problems.
really well.
They could. If we're not putting them in S tier, they're more problem causers than solvers.
It's
True. At the end of the day, they're kind of fleshy, and
Yeah.
that kind of limits their usefulness.
They are a
Alright, we'll keep these guys in A tier.
Yeah, I've topped mine in A tier. You launch them at a large ship and they will definitely cause problems. Yep, that's what they do. Up
Alright,
next is
I think the
Abaddon the
next one is-
Despoiler?
Yes, Abaddon the Despoiler.
Okay.
Are we talking with or without his arms?
Here's the thing. When you shoot him, he has arms, and then they snap off like an armor-piercing, fin-stabilized, discarding Sabo projectile. Automatic. Okay. Also, as a joke, I'm being told by chat I have to put him in D tier because God knows he can't win a goddamn crusade. But
Here's the thing. I think he has very good logistics.
there's
because
one of
he
him.
always comes back.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I also think that the top
Like,
knot
after you
makes
shoot
it.
him, he just comes back to you.
I think that the
and you
top
shoot
knot
again.
on its own is important because the top knot deals immense damage on impact.
It's like a Caltrip, but a man.
Size mass, what? He's in what? Chaos Terminator armor?
Yeah, so he's like maybe 2 or
He's
3
a-
meters.
He's a big boy. He's like a tank with feet. But
And
Okay.
he's one of the only like aerodynamic units here. He would actually work for orbital bombardment.
oh my god, you're right. His arms snap off as soon as you shoot him out of the barrel, and then he is perfectly aerodynamic. He has also the arms. If they hit something, he does have the lightning claws on them. Those will shred whatever the arms hit. He's like 3 projectiles in one.
Okay, so like an orbital fletchet.
Yeah, basically. Numbers, you only get 1 of it, but it does a lot of damage.
Same thing for logistics. You'll only get to fire him once per encounter.
But whatever you fire him at, you better hope it's not Jagatai, because he's the only person with top knot resistance.
Okay.
I think we should put him in S tier. Actually, he is the golden bullet.
Yeah, okay, he'd either be S tier for the sheer meme factor of he who just firing one of him, or B tier because again he's highly specialized, but also doesn't have the you can fire tons of him factor that the orcs do.
I-
think B tier. Because at the end of the day, like he does have a pretty long reload time, even though he always comes back to you.
That's valid.
It takes a while.
B
Volume of fire
tier.
is doctrine.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as much doctrine when you're chaos. You're either volume of fire or shoot 3 lances at it and it pops.
Yeah.
Alright. We'll put him in B tier.
Yeah, I
B
guess
for bullet.
Avatar of Cain is not S tier. We have to explain why the Avatar of Cain isn't S tier. Sorry, Ruth. I will not give this fucker S tier.
I think numbers alone would make it a little difficult for it to make it into S tier.
So here's the problem. Here's the problem. The Avatar of Cain is pretty damn cool, but also it loses all the time. And that headpiece, it's not armor pierce. They shoot him as a missile in Sea Office Cain. I know. This isn't Sea Office Cain. I'm the cooler Inquisitor here. Okay, canon, the Avatar of Cain is an S tier projectile, but I can do what I fucking want as a G-dubs person. Get fucked. I'm sorry, I'm a little angry. I do not like the Avatar of Cain.
Okay, so for context, it is an avatar of the Eldar god of war, but the problem is he gets bodied in every fight he shows up because anytime a character has sufficient motivation to fight it, that is to say they have protagonist will, they automatically beat the Avatar of Cain. And in order to
That's
make an
fine,
Avatar of
but-
Cain, you have to sacrifice like 8 Eldar, and those guys don't fuck, so you'll actually run out of them eventually.
1 second. Hey, Ruth, here's the thing. You can shit in my socks all you want. I don't wear socks.
Okay, so here's
Good
the
luck.
problem. We're not really talking about its combat prowess, right?
Yeah, no, we're
It's
talking
not
about
really
its use
be
of projectile.
fighting anything.
Yeah, we're talking
where
about its use as a
gonna be,
projectile.
like, shooting something at a million miles an hour or so.
The only time we
Its
talk about their
combat
combat
ability doesn't really
prowess
matter here.
is if they're durable enough to survive penetrating another ship's hull and then start tearing things up inside. Which the Avatar of Cain is not.
Yeah, I think the Avatar of Cain would go splat on impact in a very comedic manner. Like, it would try swinging its sword, and then it would just go crunch, like a bug.
It'd sound like a cartoon sound, like pie bomb, you know?
Isn't he made of metal?
So
I
not a lot of
mean,
armor
it's made of what?
penetration.
Wraith bone?
It's made of bone.
It's made of bone. Imagine breaking your leg against something, but, like, your entire body. That's the Avatar of Cain after we shoot him out. He's immune to fire. Yeah, fire isn't a giant fucking wall.
Avatar of Cain feels very D tier as a projectile.
Avatar of Cain is unironically bad. Oh, C for comedic effect is what I've been told to put it there. I'm going to put it on C tier because it would really make me happy to shoot him. And that's very effective for morale.
You know what?
That's
Yeah.
another category.
I would make another category,
Alright.
but I think the Avatar of Cain would just be a C tier projectile.
Alright, that sounds fine.
It's time for a Bane
Hey,
Blade.
Yes, it's a Beyblade.
Okay,
I know what this
okay.
one is.
Bane Blades are delicious, so...
But would they be good projectiles?
Okay, let's think about it. Let's think about it.
Okay,
Bane Blades are
very dense.
fucking huge, and they are very, very heavy.
Yeah, so I think you would do a lot of damage. And you have really good armor penetration.
Hello, Most Star. Aggressively stays aggressive while aggressively T-posing under an aggressive Jujutsu. Soul Reaper Gold that is aggressively upside down T-posing while aggressively being an aggressive aggressor. Me too. Bricks are bad projectiles, but in space you don't need guidance.
And they're actually pretty evenly distributed in terms of weight when you like really look
Thank
at
you for
them,
the
so you don't
follow.
have to worry about them veering off course.
Yeah, I also feel that like these vehicles that carry like actual physical ammunition, there's a good chance of that ammunition exploding on impact.
Oh, it'd be like a bolter shell.
Oh my god, we invented space bolters!
It's just a bolter shell, but large. Oh, also, when you think about it, lasguns don't have any, what's the word? Lasguns don't have any recoil, so if it's a las weapon equipped Bane Blade, it can be shooting the whole way there.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's...
usually if the crew is really skilled, you could try adjusting their course by shooting a little bit and using the recoil.
They can use their bolters like RCS
It's got guns
thrusters.
all over, right? It's got guns all over.
Yeah, they can use their like hurricane bolters as RCS thrusters.
So what we're saying is, it's basically all of the advantages of firing a crisis suit at someone, but also it goes boom on impact.
Here's the thing. You could only shoot one of it at a time, because it's huge, and you probably don't have a lot of them, but if you have Commissar Creed with you, he can just pull them out of who the fuck knows where. So that solves logistics as long as you get one dipshit out of, space jail.
Okay.
Hey, Jax,
So
let me have a sip.
S tier.
Yeah, I think the Bane Blade is our first S tier.
S for shoot it out a cannon.
S for smash into enemy.
S for send towards someone at superluminal velocity.
Turbies are at least B tier? Yeah, well, we're not on them yet. We're on Chaos Space Marines.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I think this is
I'll
just the,
trust you.
I think this is just the Chaos Space Marine.
Okay.
What about the Bane Hammer or Shadow Sword? Maybe you should suggest them for the next fucking tier list. So, a Chaos Space
You know
Marine.
them. Mhm.
I'm thinking about it, because
They're very
they're
spiky.
very spiky, that is
Wow.
correct. Wow. They will land, they will stick on impact, and even if they go squish, you'd have to pick them off of you. So okay, they're not as large as contemporary Space Marines because of the Primaris, even though we are getting slow upgrades to the Chaos Boys. So they're just a little bit less on impact and armor penetration via mass and momentum, but they do make up for it by being spiky as hell.
Yeah, I think being spiky means they'd be more effective, like, at low velocities, like if you use a trebuchet or a slingy shot.
Oh shit, you're right. They're like golf balls.
There's one important thing I'd like to bring up with regards to numbers, logistics, and other. Chaos Space Marines, if I recall correctly, can actually be resurrected through chaos magics. So you could have veteran suicide bombers.
That sounds horrifying. You're also mostly right. That is generally more specialized chaos legions. Like if we were talking rubric Marines, we could just throw those fucking dust boys, vacuum them up, and then put them back together. Yeah, only rarely, and usually because of time fuckery.
Okay.
But you could theoretically have an infinite amount of them.
Theoretically.
And I
It
think
sounds like not all the Chaos Space Marines can resurrect like that.
It's a small infinity.
Yeah, it's... I hate the word small infinity so much.
So, in mathematics, we have multiple infinities where some just expand more rapidly than others. It is not one of those.
Yeah, I guess they're kind of like Abaddon in that sense, but not quite as good. They're more numerous, but...
I think you should use them in a shotgun formation. Imagine like grape shot, but it stabs you.
It feels like...
Alright, let's put this in B tier.
Flying
B tier
V.
feels appropriate.
Yeah, I think I think it's a decent projectile. They do the flying V. You're right. From the Mighty Ducks.
They have similar strengths to orcs, but you can't get nearly as many of them.
But they are a little hardier on impact. They won't go splat as much.
It's like firing slugs.
Moving on, next one is a battle wagon.
Okay, imagine this. Imagine you have a Toyota Hilux full of orcs. Now just chuck a truck at it.
It sounds so you have like a lot of squishy inside a metal box.
I mean, yeah, it is on the squishier side of a metal box, but it is still a very, very fast-moving metal box covered in guns.
I think it would be strictly worse than a Baneblade.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
I also think it wouldn't be...
Like orcs wouldn't be that good at shooting things while moving at high velocities.
I mean, yeah, but that's why you basically just use it as a personal flak field. I do believe that it would be worse off than just shotgunning orcs because you can't attach, like, a cool cone to it. And it would require a lot more, like, logical, like, extension to make it do the same cool paint jobs.
Yeah, you need... So, for it to work as flak, you need to make it explode after, like, some amount of time, right? And I don't think that has that innate capability.
You just put... Yeah, battle wagons are the equivalent of a 12 gauge. We've had a lot of 12 gauges here already. I think if anything, you load the battle wagon with orcs with guns, and then one orc who is just covered in dynamite. And whenever that orc pops is when the whole thing goes up. I don't...
So that would work, but that's like extra work though.
Yeah, it's a lot of...
This is like come built in.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you for having me over here on the lurk. I think it would be a C tier projectile. B?
C tier is fine too.
I think it's C tier just because it's a lot more circumstantial. You'd have to have like a decent amount of like thought going into fire the battle wagon, whereas
it's not
like
bad, but it's not inherently good, you know?
Yeah, like I think the thing about it is that the big thing about it is that it's not bad. It's just not something you would automatically load up. Like an A tier projectile you would have at the ready, and a B tier projectile you would have on the auxiliary guns. But a C tier projectile is something you'd have to think about using.
Okay, yeah, C for circumstantial.
Yeah, comedy and
Alright,
circumstance.
Next one is a gargant.
Okay, this one is
Okay.
automatic. I hate to say the words that this one should probably go in S tier right off the bat.
Okay. Tell me
Okay,
why.
okay. Are you ready? So, Orc Gargants are the equivalent of Imperial Titans. They are already bullet-shaped because they have to have a big, wide base so as not to sink into the ground. They are covered in guns. Literally, they're like monuments to Dhaka. And imagine,
also-
imagine one of those
Okay.
going fast.
And also
Are
because
these
they're
squishies?
are they filled with squishies?
I believe they are filled with a shitload of orc boys.
Okay.
And because of the way that orc psychic effects work by virtue of belief, having a literal effigy to explosions and guns be a projectile sounds like a really big boom on impact.
Also, the best part about that is that not only would it be a huge boom on impact, whatever orcs survive the boom would then be released into the target.
It doesn't sound like there'd be many of them, but I suppose.
Oh,
if
you're
these
entirely
survive, it would
incorrect.
be-
There are a
No,
near infinite
yeah.
amount of them. As
It's
these,
like clouds!
I don't think you're ready, Audire. These are like effigies to their gods and their ideals of life. They are constantly making them.
Oh, I meant in the sense that not many orcs would survive the impact.
Well, here's the thing. Orcs are very hardy little mushrooms.
I think
Okay,
more
okay.
that more would survive impact than you would probably want. Honestly.
You want a zero number. The amount that survives is non-zero.
Fair.
So
okay.
so it's
This isn't
huge. Yeah, it's huge. You shoot one of it, but whatever it hits is gone.
fair.
Didn't they actually? I think there was a book where they dropped a Gargant head first on a battlefield, and the battlefield just disappeared. Like it was an orc version of Exterminatus. They just dropped a
Alright,
holy
moving
monument
on.
and everything went.
Okay, so next up we have a bloodthirster.
Okay. Bloodthirsters are fun. So it's a greater demon of Khorne. It's very angry. It wants nothing but to kill everything in its path. It wants nothing but to appease, the blood god. This thing will get you blood for the blood god. It's got cool-looking wings. It's got a head covered in spikes, and it's got giant chain axes. But there aren't that
also-
many of them.
They're also made of meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks kind of squishy.
They are very... They will
And you don't even
squish.
have horns.
They will squish on impact. But you have an infinite amount of them as long as you can keep being angry enough to pull them through.
Okay.
So I honestly
It
think that they're
seems
A
like you
tier.
wouldn't want to go willingly into the gun, though. That might be a problem.
Yeah.
Honestly, with
They'll animate cut through the bulkhead before they hit. You're right, they will put the axe first to be armor piercing, and then they'll smush, and their weird, horrifying fire blood will get everywhere. That is valid. They
I
have a...
honestly-
Huh? What do you
Oh.
honestly?
I honestly feel like they're C tier. Actually,
What?
I think they would work very poorly as a projectile by virtue of they can cut stuff, but only insofar as like the length of their axe. Meaning their armor penetration is actually pretty limited compared to like the bulkheads of a full size ship.
Okay.
I-
Yeah.
But as a... Okay, there are also Bloodthirster possessed cannons in canon. So they
But
can
that-
just become the gun and the ammunition.
But that's not firing them.
Yeah, I mean, they can
Yeah,
also be the
I see.
ammunition.
Yeah.
Imagine a gun that is you and shoots you.
Well,
I think they're a higher
Maybe
tier.
just count possession.
I think that they're a
maybe-
higher tier
maybe
for
I can count possession.
one big reason though. They are a guided smart projectile. You tell them a thing that you want
What?
killed for the blood god, you shoot them out of a gun, they have wings.
But do wings really let you reposition in space that well?
We didn't say this had to be in space. This could just be in general.
Fair.
You can
I think they
also
work-
You can bind them into a bullet and then have them burst out of the bullet on impact. That is canon. Oh god. You could make a shell that you fire out of a ship onto a planet, and when it hits the ground, it bursts into another angrier flying thing.
Alright, you've convinced me. That feels pretty A to S tier.
I think that Bloodthirsters are A tier. They're like a smart munition you never run out of, and they're very mad about it.
A for angry.
Okay.
A for angry.
Okay.
I actually really like the Bloodthirsters so much.
Alright, next we have, I think, this is a Chaos Lord?
A Chaos Lord. Yeah, that's a Chaos Lord. Chaos Lords probably are about to suffer from the same thing as Abaddon, wherein there's only so many of them because they have to, you know, get to that. It's like shooting a middle manager at someone. Except they're also wearing a tank and a half worth of armor.
I think they look pretty dense.
They're extremely dense, and there's a lot of ones of them. Abaddon is one of them, after all. But you would run out of them really quickly.
You can only fit a couple of them on the ship before they start fighting each other.
The Chaos Space Marine, though. They're not that much bigger.
Yeah.
They're very spiky, but...
They're a lot spikier, and they're a lot bulkier, though.
Yeah, but I feel like the numbers make it hard to... Like, there's a lot fewer of them than the Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, and they don't all...
I feel
They're
like
not
it's
all
hard
as,
to
like...
overcome.
They're not all as uniquely silly as Abaddon.
They don't come back. You don't get more of them.
You have to train someone else to be cool. And you can only really carry a couple of them at a time before they start to kill each other.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking C tier.
Yeah, I think that goes in C tier. It's just Abaddon, but a little less cool. It's just a lot more,
This is the... Oh. Was it? I think that was a Chaos Terminator. And this one is the Chaos Space Marine.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it now. I see the weird
okay,
face.
We already discussed this. So
Okay.
we'll just put that there.
So we'll just
Okay,
switch
we
them
cropped
around.
out the top. Yeah, so we'll just put that.
And we'll just
Yeah.
zoop them around. Chaos Terminator. Yeah, I think Chaos Terminators and Space Marines are about the same ranking anyway. They have the same sort of ideals and such.
They'd
Yeah,
be
I think
pretty
the
darn
Terminator's just a
equivalent.
little bigger.
Just one of them's a little larger and you shoot it a little slower.
Alright, the next one is a Dark Eldar Raider.
Ooh, a boat.
Here's the thing about Dark Eldar. I don't think that they can withstand, like, any sort of physical trauma whatsoever.
They-
Boats included.
They can't, but it is a very sharp boat. It does
I
have a
think
drill.
it
It has a
is-
drill tip too. When you think about it.
The personnel wouldn't be very good, but the boat itself, I think, would be decent just looking at it. The
Yeah.
boat is kind of bullet shaped.
Hi, Merloin.
I don't like the top is open. That seems like. That's just a little inefficient.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but it is a very well armor-piercing projectile that has people angry enough and horny enough to steer it into the enemy. These are the Dark Eldar we're talking
Okay.
about.
Can I make a controversial
Okay,
take?
so
What?
sure.
I feel like this could be our first D tier by virtue of all things like about it that make it uniquely a Dark Eldar thing, also make it not suited to be a projectile, and in fact would cease to exist the second it gets in any sort of speed whatsoever. At that point, you're just throwing a triangle. And
Yeah,
then we're
but
just like,
triangle sharp.
Triangle is a strong shape, but it loses the uniqueness that is being a Dark Eldar ship.
You're right.
Well,
We're rating it on
I think
how
probably make it C tier. Because it is still one thing good about it, right?
Yeah,
Like it's
Right.
kind of
it
sharp
would still
and-
slam through something. It would just disintegrate after doing so.
Yeah, you know what, that's
What's
fair.
D tier for the actual Eldar themselves?
Yeah, we're saving D tier for the Eldar because the Imperial Guardsmen aren't D tier projectiles, and I hate to spoil that. We're rating 40k units based on their efficiency or like just pure like
How effective they are as ammunition.
how good would they be as an ammunition type? Who's next?
Alright, so we'll put this in C tier.
Yeah, C tier's where I
This
slammed
is
it.
a Dark Eldar Homunculus.
D tier. automatically.
It's just imagine linearly accelerating a pile of gelatin that fucks.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared for you to describe them like that.
I'm not wrong.
Hey,
Like,
Monkey, I
imagine
do
getting
not fuck. Yeah, I do. Shut up, Ruth.
Imagine just getting a big old plate of jelly jiggles and then flinging it at someone really hard and expecting that to penetrate the whole of a
basically jizzing
fucking
on your
MBT.
Ruth is adamant that they don't fuck, and Lynn is like, this is just bukkake your enemy. It's only morale damage. D tier right now. D for dicks.
Ruth, are you a fucking Eldar? No, you don't understand what fucking is to them. Existing as a Deldar homunculus is an act of copulation.
I really wish you would stop.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, so the fish
Next
theory.
up.
Oh
is a
shit, devilfish.
Devilfish.
Okay. I have to say, it will be below the crisis suit.
It will be below.
Because while it is fast and has a lot of guns on the nose, they cannot fuck the other Delcarter. Stop.
So I can only
Their
shoot
form of
4?
fuck is making horrifying agony symphonies. Give them that. I think that the devilfish... Okay, here's the thing. It would be a really good projectile if its head wasn't so goddamn wide. And if it every time it shot, it wouldn't, like, veer it off course downwards a little.
But the thing about the devilfish is it also acts as really useful cover, like, in-game.
Yeah.
Like, Fish of Fury was a cheese tactic for a reason. I think you could
Yeah.
actually fire it as a leading shot to clear the path of, like, fucking, basically, flak 4 shots behind it.
Oh my god, oh my god, wait. What you're saying is that you shoot it first, and then you shoot all your torpedoes behind it, so it has, like, all the guns on the front shooting down the anti-torpedo stuff.
Yes.
Holy
Wait, it's like a
sh...
decoy.
That sounds awesome! And
I
if it
think it's
manages
the-
to survive, then it can still point all the guns at the target before impact.
I think it's a highly specialized tool, but it's really good at its good job.
I'm putting that on A tier. That sounds like something Warhammer 40k would do constantly. Also,
Okay.
there's a decent amount of them. You only need to shoot one at a time. And it's very big and heavy. So if it does make it to crashing into the enemy, then I guess it would still do a decent amount of damage.
Also, its reactor is fuck off huge for its size.
It would go nuclear.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. That would actually be very good.
I just saw what's next on the list, and I have the worst thing to say.
Oh god.
Hey guys, the Lord of
Okay.
Change is next. Have you ever shot a very large angry turkey at someone?
Call that bird shot!
Here's the problem. Lords of Change are S tier projectiles. Are you ready to know why? Are you ready?
Let us know.
Because Lords of Change already know what's about to happen. You can't shoot them down. You can't shoot them down. That thing gets shot at you like a
Mythbusters
missile.
turkey
It's
cannon.
smart. It's guided. It's got wings. It will fuck you up with extreme chaos magic. You cannot shoot it down. If you shoot that at something, it will fuck it up.
And they have the same infinity ability of the other demons.
Yeah. This is basically a bloodthirster, except it knows not to get shot. And instead of hitting something with an axe, it'll just go fucking, like, chaos magic nuclear. Yeah, whatever it hits will get mulched by chaos magic and everything around it. And then it'll
And then you get
poof
another
back.
one.
Yeah, it'll poof back into the void and teleport back to you. It can go through walls. That's right. It's armor piercing in that it doesn't have to go through the wall. It will go behind the wall. It'll phase through it to whatever you target it at, and then it will go hee-hoo.
It's self-reloading.
Okay.
Lords of Change are S tier murder turkeys.
Alright, next up is an Eldar Scorpion.
Oh, fuck.
It has the same triangular properties as the Eldar boat,
Okay.
But
Scorpions?
this is in the case. It's not like opening the top. I think that would make it better.
Okay, it's the super heavy tank of the Eldar, which means it weighs about 30 pounds as opposed to 2 pounds. It is like their largest battle tank. It does have 2 giant fuck-off guns, and then a smaller fuck-off gun, and then turreted, like, miniature fuck-off guns. And it has 2 prongs, so if you ever wanted to shoot, like, a fork on top of a fork that shoots things, and would just go right through armor, I think you'd probably shoot that. But the problem is that there are so few of them, and you would not want to use them as a projectile. Because they are, after all, craft world.
You need to find a want. I'm not an Eldar, so I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, but the Eldar wouldn't let you. So, like, while it does have the...
Let is part of this discussion. But, okay, so...
I think the thing is that it
The
has...
logistics. Because I guess if the Eldar aren't willing, we have to kind of, like, fight them for it. That makes it a little more awkward.
Yeah. I just think it's got a lot of S tier, like, components, but at the same time, you just wouldn't get the opportunity to use it often. Like, it just wouldn't come up enough that you could have an excuse. Those guns are giant bright lances, it would turn bulkheads to slag. I mean, yeah, but the problem is you'd never get to use it.
The logistics concern is too great. You just wouldn't have many
Yeah,
of
so
them.
we'll put it in B tier. It has some really good properties, but
If
like the numbers and logistics are kind of
yeah, it's B tier in that you never get to use it, but when you do get to use it, you get to watch it zap through bulkheads and then crash through the special stuff. And it's very, very satisfying, but your Eldar GF is very mad about it.
Speaking of Eldar GFs,
Yes, speaking of that, this is an Eldar Wraith Knight.
Oh god, it's time to shoot a Wraith Knight.
I think it has all of the weaknesses of the previous unit, but with even less strengths.
The Wraith Knight is basically just a bigger, somehow more vulnerable on impact crisis suit, and they don't want you to use them like a weapon.
Yeah, I'm sensing a trend. I don't think that Eldar in general make very good projectiles.
I mean,
Which is a shame because they're the funniest projectiles.
wait till we get to the Necrons. I think the Necrons are the funniest projectiles we have here.
Fair.
Okay,
Spirit
so-
stones are explosive, but if you let one explode, you will get killed in your sleep.
Alright, we'll put this in C tier then. It's not completely worthless.
Yeah, it would still be
Nice
good to
idea.
shoot, but you just don't get to.
And this one might be wrong. This is a Harlequin.
A Harlequin.
D tier.
It's D
That's just
tier,
a
but
person.
it's funny enough to it's simultaneously D and S tier. You're right. They're useless as projectiles, but throwing enough Harlequins at something would make the other person upset enough to not want to get hit anymore.
It's great for your troops' morale. Terrible for like everything else.
I have to put it in D tier because you could just shoot someone as a commissar. We're not putting it in C for comedic because there aren't enough of them to make me happy. If there were enough Harlequins to shoot at a wall to cure my depression, it would be B tier. But there aren't.
It's Harlequin. But the names are similar.
Huh?
Sorry.
It's not the Batman
Sorry,
villainous
I'll keep it
Harlequin.
Alright, this one is a Tau Fire Warrior.
Okay. They're very squishy. Fire warriors are just D tier? Okay, it depends on how hard you shoot them.
I think the sheer volume of fire warriors you can fling out, plus the fact that their weapons are uniquely suited for melting metal specifically, makes them really good as just like annoying pepper box stuff
I think
against.
they'd fit in a
enemies.
C tier. Because you shoot
They
them
feel-
shotgun style with rail rifles, and you can just put a bunch of small holes in something before they go splat. It would still work.
Decently well armed.
Yeah,
I
they're
would put them D tier. tier.
You're putting them in D tier? It's like
I think I
It's
wouldn't
like
put them in
firing
D tier.
smart living napalm.
it's
Yeah.
firing smart living napalm. Yeah, but also it would feel bad throwing all the cowboys at it.
I think they belong in C for cowboy.
Let's put them in C for cowboy. Counterpoint, they
Oh,
have such
C.
slow reaction time they wouldn't be able to shoot before they splat. That's why you shoot them at low velocity, so that you let them pop off a couple rounds. They're like tandem charge warheads.
Alright, next one is a Tyrannid Gene Stealer.
So uniquely, I think these are both terrible and great. Because while they aren't very large, they're about basic Gene Stealer on the larger size is about a Termi, so they're usually around the size of like an orc boy. They have 4 arms, and they do have claws capable of ripping through goddamn everything. So you shoot them at something, and they land claws first, and they are leaving big holes.
But it goes flat though.
There's also enough of them to shoot them just in mass.
Okay, that's a bonus.
It's like, yeah, it's like
I don't think that is
anti-personnel.
pretty numerous.
If you just point a Gene Stealer shotgun at like an enemy troop column, the troop column is gone. If you point it at a bulkhead, the bulkhead is torn to shreds. Yeah, your Gene Stealers will be mulch, but at the same time, they got the job done really quick. I think
You're
they're
gonna have
A
some
tier.
Steelers in a little bit.
Yeah, you'd have Gene Stealers like mad. I think you can put them in A tier and it would feel fine. Also, they have really smooth heads, so they're very aerodynamic.
They are no worse than firing normal orc boys.
Yeah, they're just like orc boys but dedicated melee for it.
Okay. Next up, the God Emperor of Mankind.
I think he would be the worst projectile of all, actually.
The God Emperor of Mankind.
Yeah, I was kinda thinking
Wait.
D tier.
You think he's the worst projectile of all time? You can't take him off the chair. You have to shoot the chair as well. And guess what? The chair is the fucking Earth. You
But he's
can't.
also a skeleton. You could just yank the bones.
Yeah, but then the psychic backlash would instantly destroy you.
Which would make it a terrible projectile.
True. What if you shot the chair and then he got detached from the chair on impact, and that's what the psychic backlash is? It's like a nuke. You just have to shoot the entire thing.
You get one.
You get one, but it instantly destroys the universe. That's an S tier projectile to me.
But you live in the universe.
Not for long. I'll have a new, cooler universe. One without that smelly old man.
It's very good, but
Oh, yeah. When he dies.
He's kind of hard to get a hold of.
When he dies, he might apotheosize and become God, and then you just win. Imagine nuking your enemy and winning. That sounds too good to pass up. There is just one of them, but if we can already get our hands on enough Baneblades and Lords of Change to shoot, I think we get our special projectile boy. The logistics of it are horrifying.
Shoot me whenever I go near volunteer though.
I think he would volunteer if he had the chance to become God. Again. He would be upset about it, but he would volunteer. I think the Custodes think about it enough for them to just agree with it if you ask them nicely. God knows the Custodes are, not
Tired.
doing anything else fun.
I hear they're learning about children's
B or
cartoons.
S tier. I
S-tier.
think the logistics might be the only thing keeping him from S tier.
I think it should go in S tier because the pros outweigh the cons. Yeah, the logistics would be hard, but when you do shoot it, it's, the projectile.
He is the worst traditional projectile, but he is the best WMD.
This is like just putting a nuclear weapon on, like, the same table as a hollow point.
Weapons of mass divinity.
I want to put him on S tier. I think he fits there. And this isn't because I'm a filthy fucking Humies writer. This is because I think that I'd want to see the psychic backlash explosion so bad that I would just become a Chaos Lord. to organize it.
We'll put the God Emperor in S tier.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, a great MP one.
Oh god.
I
Yeah.
thought this one would be, they probably spread germs on impact, right?
Okay, here's
It's a very
here's
effective
the thing.
biological
Yeah.
weapon.
So someone in my chat said they're C tier. They'll splat, but they make a hell of a mess to clean up. Not only that, but they are very large. And have you seen how dense scar material is at times? It is A, a bioweapon, and B, would put the biggest fucking dent in something you've ever seen.
I think it's the only projectile we have on this list that would specifically knock opposing ships off course.
And then also infect everyone inside with, like, everything at once.
Yeah, so it got the most damage, but
Hitting something with
it's a
it would just be
biological
like...
weapon.
Yeah, hitting something with it is a war crime. But
So
who's
is
gonna
firing
come
people
after
out of cannon.
you? I think it's a C tier. It's extremely, like, circumstantial. But it's very
I
fun to
said this
use.
to my chat
Huh?
before the start of the stream, but I don't think there are any war crimes in 40k.
There are some. I would know. I have to write about
Oh,
them.
there are?
There are a couple of them, actually.
Okay.
Bioweapons aren't
Well,
one of
for one
them,
time.
but
So, oh, sorry?
bioweapons aren't one of them. That's like how one of the grenades work, is that it's a... Don't say they're a me specialty! War crimes aren't a me thing! I mean, they are, but... yeah, like, there's a grenade that the whole point of it is that it's just, like, a bioactive reaction so hard it turns into, like, molten, like, napalm. That does count under, like, bio...
This seems like a defeat the point of it being bio.
I mean, yeah, but still, it gets you sick as hell if it gets near you.
Okay.
Also,
Well-
like bio and radiation weapons, that's just the fucking tech marie. That's just the tech priests.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this B tier.
B tier, yeah, actually. B tier sounds fun. I just want to put a
For
big...
Booger Man.
I want to put a big booger man in a gun and slam him into a wall. That sounds great. The noise of him going splat alone would cause so much psychic damage to everyone around it.
Alright, next up
What kind of creature
is
is
the
that?
Tau Guardian.
The what?
I guess it's a guardian?
Huh.
Oh, no, that's an Eldar Guardian.
That's an Eldar.
Oh, my bad.
Oh my god, it's time for the fun one. It's an Eldar foot soldier. Oh shit. Have you ever wanted to shoot a really squishy elf at something and watch them go crunch?
I think my projectiles to be a little more effective.
They aren't effective. These are like a D tier projectile.
They're
Isn't that-
terrible. They
isn't
have
that
terrible
the-
aerodynamics.
Isn't
You
that a
only get
Forge World Aspect Warrior? I'm not the one who got the pictures.
I don't know what these are.
We don't have Aspect Warriors on the list, so this
It-
It says Guardian.
this would have to be
This
the
is
Guardian.
wiki entry.
Yeah.
This is Eldar Guardian.
As a projectile,
The Guardian Warriors of Craftwell Bioton is the caption for this image.
They're very bad.
they got terrible size, mass, and shape. Like, they just wouldn't work well. They'd be, like, firing needles at someone, but, like, not very fast, because they'd turn into goo on the way there if you fire them too hard. You only get a finite number of them, because they don't fuck. Have
It's-
I mentioned that you only get a couple of them, and they have no special oomph on impact.
They have a bullet-shaped head, though. Yeah, but good luck letting it survive the whole flight. It's like the Army Flechette program. Those things would disintegrate upon hitting a leaf. A rain droplet
Alright.
hits one of them in the air. The air is too moist, and they disintegrate in midair.
I mean, that's what they're like normally, like,
Yeah.
without being projectiles.
They just go.
B tier it is. Alright, next up is a Tau gun drone.
I think that this... Okay. I think uniquely, Tau gun drones would make a surprisingly decent projectile. Because have you ever thrown a frisbee at someone and wished it had guns on it? Imagine shooting a swarm of frisbees with machine guns at something.
Maybe it's like firing a machine gun.
Homing capability, right?
What was that?
It looks like he fly.
Yes,
So
they
that's
can.
some homing capability.
They already fly. They are already an airborne thing. Yeah, Ruth, you're right. They could get skeet shot. That's why I said you fire them in mass. Like you load up a big old cannon with like a few hundred of them. You pull the trigger, and suddenly you have a lot of angry frisbees with machine guns flying in the direction of an enemy.
With the ratio of Tau like foot soldiers to Tau drones, I think this is the only unit that you could fire full auto.
I also think you could probably fire like orc boys in full auto.
I guess, yeah.
They are, yeah, Tau aren't particularly numerous, but they do mass produce the combat drones. If you started saying if you shoot a combat drone, it's extra effective, they would just ramp up production. I think that these have to go into A tier.
They feel A tier.
Okay, A tier.
The drones themselves feel A tier because you're not wasting a body. You're just wasting a, like, hunk of metal and a gun.
Alright, next up. A Tyranian Hierophant.
Time for a very angry bug. Hierophants are garbage tier.
This little spindly.
Oh my god, my chat is already mad about them.
I feel like this one would go off course really easily.
Yeah? They are very large, they are very sharp, and they do have, like, Angie going on their side. They have ridiculously low density to body size. You're right, they are a bug, but when you slam that many needles into something, a few of them are gonna stick.
Because it points its legs forward.
Yeah, if it sticks its legs forward... Yeah, if it sticks its legs forward, it could just be like a nice needle point and then shatter into a bunch more. They're also very large, so shooting them at something means you have a high probability to hit. But they are squishy, and they would take a lot of hits on the way there. So I think they're probably B or C tier.
I'm feeling C at
The
best.
legs will, like, come off when you shoot them, kind of like Abaddon.
Yeah.
Someone said it's a bug splatting on a windshield. Yeah, let's put it in C tier. It's entertaining to shoot, and it might do something in a pinch, but you don't want to shoot it all the time.
Alright.
What is wrong with
And
us?
next up we have the Tyranian Hive Tyrant.
A Tyranid
It's a T-Rex.
Hiveguard. You want to shoot a T-Rex at something that has a machine gun?
I actually really do so bad now that you put it like that. I actually need to now, is the thing.
Yeah, if you go, hey, look at this machine. Also, some of them have wings, so that might be good. We could use them as a guided nightmare projectile. They have psychic powers. Oh my god, we're dumb. They have psychic powers too.
Imagine a psychic T-Rex with a gun! That's the
Yeah.
best thing ever!
Wait. Not only does it have a gun, but it uses, what, venom cannons? It has a gun that shoots acid crystals.
Wait, are Tyranids actually the coolest thing ever? Shit.
Yeah, some of them also have katanas. So imagine a T-Rex with an... Okay. Imagine shooting a winged T-Rex that has psychic powers and an armor-piercing machine gun.
And a katana.
Isn't there a Digimon like that? There's a Digimon for everything.
That's Gundramon.
Yeah, that is Gundramon. I think that Hive Tyrant... Okay, there's not too many of them, though. So it would be, like, relegated to B, probably. It would go splat, but on the way there, it would do a shitload of damage.
And it would look so cool in flight!
Oh, they can be respawned, though. You're right. You just have to take a bit to, like, grow them. So you could have a theoretically infinite amount of armor-piercing, winged, psychic T-Rexes.
It's just a small infinity.
B.
Yeah, B tier sounds really nice.
Things that go splat, they're only so good if you can't have too many of them.
Okay. I know that
Alright, next up.
That's just a
I'm
guardsman?
sorry. Yeah, that's just a guardsman.
Okay. He has a plasma gun in the picture. I'm gonna say las rifle. Just a las gun, okay? Oh, wait. We have something that might move the tyrant up to A tier. The hive mind preserves their consciousness, so that means the more you shoot them, the more experience they get, and the better they get at murder on the way there.
That feels
It's
like
a
the
gun that
ideal.
levels up.
That feels like A tier. That feels like it makes up for it. I'm gonna move it up to A tier. Because imagine having a veteran guided missile. Okay. Imperial Guardsmen are S tier projectiles, let me tell you why. They are small, they might be small. They might be just a man, a helmet, a flak vest, and a las gun. But God knows, by the God Emperor, you stick 10 of them in a giant shotgun shell, you point their las guns to whatever you want them to shoot, they will open fire, and before hitting, they'll overcharge the fuckers, and every single one of them will detonate instantly with the power of a goddamn triple crack grenade. Because that's canon.
I feel like they're also very easy to lure into the back of a van.
Yeah, they're very easy to load into the back of a gun. You
just tell them to, and
they will. And we all know this, or we might not all know this. We know this in canon. A las gun's battery pack going critical, i.e. being damaged enough to pop, or being intentionally set off to go explode, is enough to crack open and melt the faceplate of a Chaos Dreadnought. Imagine 10 of those happening at once. Every time you shot it.
Yeah.
And it's shooting a fuck ton of lasers.
Ammo.
That is an S tier projectile.
Ammo is the best ammo.
The Imperial also logistics. The one thing that the fucking Imperium of Man never runs out of is warm bodies. You can shoot them forever.
Alright, next up. An Emperor-class battleship.
This is an S tier just on the fact that you are shooting a fucking, like, ramming prow equipped giant ship at something that is also covered in guns. There is no way to avoid getting hit by it the second that it gets shot at you. You will just be eliminated.
It gets better too, because it could also fire guardsmen.
It's like shooting the Empire State Building at somebody if the Empire State Building had an armor-piercing tip.
And the armor-piercing tip also fired smaller guns.
It also has a warp drive for the Hail Mary, and it's covered in thrusters, so it's like shooting a fucking rocket that just keeps getting faster before it crashes into you.
Yeah, but aren't they irreplaceable? So you have like a finite supply.
Yeah, but here's the thing. How many things would you be shooting at it that you would imagine it breaking on impact for?
You might be able to reuse this thing.
You can just repair the prow. These things
they
are
already ram into stuff.
They're built to crash. Imagine shooting a church at someone that was built for armor piercing.
Okay, we'll put it in S tier.
Yeah, this is S tier. This is S tier because if you break your bullet, you probably didn't deserve to win anyway.
Imagine chucking the Taj Mahal at someone, and the Taj Mahal excitedly scampers up to your side and says, "Do it again."
Just imagine you get a Mass Effect drive and you slap it against a fucking Emperor-class battleship. Whatever it runs into is gone.
Okay. I forget what this one is.
It's like another Dark Eldar.
Cavalite Warrior.
What?
I think it's a Dark Eldar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a standard infantry unit.
Imagine a bullet that sucks but is also horny.
You just said that it sucks twice.
I think I'd put it in C tier just because I'd get more pleasure shooting them out of a gun than I would the regular Eldar.
Well, I guess you could also reason that you also gross out whatever you're shooting them at a little bit.
Okay. Here's the thing. Logistics, running out of them is a good thing. If you run out of them, that's good. You just got rid of them all. Because it is Dark Eldar, after all.
Don't forget, the Dark Eldar also respawn.
Yeah, they respawn. Their weapons suck at armor piercing, but I would feel so not bad about full autoing them at a target that I would just hold down the trigger. I don't care if their weapons suck at armor piercing. They're covered in silly spikes. They just need to crash into it enough. I think that's a C tier projectile. Yeah, I think
bullet that
it's
both
fine. We'll put that C tier.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
It's a little better than the Harlequin after all.
Oh boy, the next one's gonna be horrifying to me.
I forget what that is. Looks like this niche thing.
It's a keeper of
Keeper of
secrets.
secrets.
Imagine a gun full of succubi.
Imagine a gun that is just a giant four-armed, four-sworded succubus thing. The problem is that I don't want to shoot it at something. Because then I wouldn't have weird... I wouldn't have a weird goat-faced forearm stabby. It has to be better than the Bloodthirster, but the Bloodthirster is A tier. Here's the thing, it's not... It has psychic powers, yeah, but it's not guided. They don't come standard with wings, and wings are the guidance for a bullet. So you'd have to actually aim the
I don't
fucker.
really need my ammunition to seduce the target. So, doesn't really do it for me.
Imagine getting shot in the kidney, and then the flash thing you think is, damn, that was a super sexy hollow point.
Shooting spiky things is like falling into a pile of burr seed pods. Not much damage, but fucking annoying and needs immediate attention. Yeah, but this is a very large spiky thing. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm putting it in B tier, but also... Imagine if when you shot a gun, instead of hearing a bang, Lil Nas X's Montero played.
Money.
That's just shooting a fucking... That's just shooting a Keeper of Secrets.
Oh, what the?
Uh-oh.
I just closed the
No!
stream accidentally. Okay, move through list.
Could you just imagine that? Yeah, let me have a sip. Imagine that. You
Yeah.
shot a gun and instead of a bang, just, call me what you want. Oh, bye. If it lives, it comes back.
Oh, no, it's all messed up. Ew. Hang on. I gotta fix this.
We're making good time. We'll be right at your end time.
What the fuck is this next thing?
Hang on, let me... Okay, there we go. Alright, so we decided on B tier for that.
Yeah,
What?
I'm putting the Lord of the Keeper of Secrets in B tier.
Okay, so this is the orc bike.
Oh!
It's an orc on a bike, I think.
Oh my god, we're on the bikes now. We're on the war bikes. When would my next stream be, by the way? Tomorrow I'm streaming Near Replicant from hopefully like 4 p.m. till who the fuck knows when. So a war bike, I know that you want to put bikes on S tier because it's just like it's just shooting an orc boy with a motorcycle, and the motorcycle is covered in guns. Purely because of Wazdaka. That's actually very valid.
Would it be that much better than just the orc, though?
I think it is marginally better than an orc, but in every single way.
To the point where I would rather shoot an orc on a bike than just a orc. Because that just sounds so good. Wait, guys. Guys, listen to me. Listen to me. An orc boy on his own is unguided. But if you tell an orc boy he can drive his motorcycle in the air into whatever target he wants, he is now a guided missile. Through the sheer power of fuck you, I'm an orc. We just improved orc boys in every way, shape, and form. By giving them extra explosive mass, extra guns, extra armor piercing, and guidance.
And there's just as many of them, really.
They all have their own motorcycle if they really want it.
Okay.
It is objectively a straight upgrade
So
with no
are we
downside.
thinking
Also in
High A
canon,
tier or S tier?
S tier. In canon, there is an orc warbike rider known as Wazdaka Gutsmack, who drove his bike through the impervious shields of a Titan, got set on fire, crashed through the cockpit of the Titan, killed everyone inside of it, and then took the burning skull of the Princeps and slammed it on his bike and drove off. So that on its own makes it an S tier projectile. That is like
Okay, so it has like shield penetration ability.
So yeah. If they're really angry enough, they will drive through shields.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And the thing is, it's also good against infantry. It's good against ships.
It's just
probably fine for bombardment.
It's just good for everything. It's a guided projectile that is angry and wants to have fun.
It is actually a one-size-fits-all solution. There's
And you
no
can
reason
machine
to not
gun
fire
it.
work on a bike at things ever.
And you can machine gun it too. Hell, you can just hold the breach open and they'll drive into it and get accelerated like fucking Mario Kart. Next up is a Space Marine Land Raider.
Yes.
So here's the thing. This is a very, very, like... Okay, I'm not putting a Land Raider on S tier for one reason. It's not as large as a Baneblade. It is just as dense, but its, like, weapons component is significantly lower. So while the Baneblade can, fry everything as it flies, the Land Raider really only has its sponsons. It doesn't have like a big turreted weapon. The whole point of Land Raider is take Marines. Yeah, but if you put 20 Marines in there, then you have 20 Marines being mulched on impact. I don't trust them not to go Pair Wiggler in there.
I don't think the Marines would add too much.
Terminators will not be mulched? Yeah, but also, then they'd be just outside of a ship when it goes clunk. They aren't very sharp.
Could the Land Raider make it inside?
Huh?
Could the Land Raider make it inside where it would just like crunch?
Yeah, like
outside?
it would just crunch like a fucking soda can.
It does not have inertial dampeners. Those
Why
don't
are
exist in 40K.
Why are Baneblades S tier? They aren't sharp. Excuse you. Baneblades are larger. They are a lot more dense. You just hit something with it and it goes through. Also, we have Commissar Creed on our side. We have infinite Baneblades from God knows fuck where. We have to convince the Space Marines to shoot themselves like a gun. I think that it's a B tier. I think it's a B tier because yeah, the Marines would do it, but it also would be more of a delivery thing for like, here you go, here are some Terminators, and we already know that Terminators are like a B tier projectile already. At least Chaos Termies are.
Alright. Next up we have a Lehman Russ.
Okay. The Lehman Russ is a very, very, very decent projectile in my opinion. I believe it should be A tier. Just because there's a lot more of them than there are Baneblades, and although it is a lot smaller, I'm not gonna put it on B tier, fuck you. And because it's not as big as a Baneblade, it's pretty small. Like a Lehman Russ is about as big as the top turret on a Baneblade.
A Lehman Russ you can fire for effect. You can fire for saturation.
The thing is that Lehman Russes have not one, like, okay, the thing about Land Raiders is that they have sponsons that point forward, and you can really only fit so much on them. The Lehman Russ has 2 sponsons, a fucking hull weapon, and a turret. And you can put all sorts of shit on there. You can have Punisher cannons, you can have fucking, you can have the Vanquisher you can have the Vanquisher heavy cannon, you can have multi-las weapons, you can have all sorts of shit. You can have, theoretically, a double las cannon on the top with las cannons on the sponsons and a las cannon in the center line just to have maximum laser saturation. You can do whatever you want. Lehman Russes are just really, really versatile. They're heavy enough to like leave a dent. And there's enough of them being made for it not to be a problem to waste them willy-nilly. That's an A tier projectile. Yeah, that's an A tier projectile to me.
Wait, how did I get the idea for this stream? I'm very creative. That's how.
We're very silly, Tommy.
Alright, next
I
up
can't
the
remember if I
Manticore.
helped this concept or not. This feels like some nonsense I'd pull out of my vape cores. But I don't
No,
remember.
I came up with this by myself.
Gotcha.
You did approve of the idea when I first proposed it, though.
Okay, next up is gonna be a very controversial one for me. Because it's the Manticore missile launcher.
I feel like it is missiles. And missiles already explode, so this thing is probably going to explode when you...
Missiles don't explode when they're rapidly accelerated. If they did, they would just pop on start.
Well, on impact.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. A Manticore would be shot out of a gun. It would immediately fire its four missiles? It would immediately fire its 4 missiles at 4 different targets. And then it would slam into the primary target. With its weird wedge face Lehman Russ body without a good gun. Yeah, it's got 4 big missiles. You could just chuck it, and it would just fire them rapidly, and then it would crash into something.
It is strictly a slightly worse Lehman Russ.
Yeah, like you could target other things, but I think it's a B tier projectile. Why isn't the Deathstrike missile launcher on the list? Because I didn't make the list.
Also, the Deathstrike missile launcher would not be a useful projectile. It just has a useful projectile.
Imagine chucking something that you expect to chuck something else.
That's like half the things on this list.
I mean, but the thing is that they also crash for effect. Like when you shoot drones at something, you at least get the frisbee stuck in the enemy. There are things that'll stab. Yeah, but the Deathstrike would just be useless on impact. You would fire its missile, and then it would just kind of be like, okay, this sucks, can I go home? And crunch.
So, a Space Marine Dreadnought.
Yes.
I think a Dreadnought has to be at least a fucking A tier. Just because, think about it. It's big, it's heavy, it can have armor-piercing weapons on it. The guy inside is already dead. He doesn't care about getting mulched. He'll gladly get shot at you. There's a bunch of Dreadnoughts already in the Legions that want to die. What pattern Dread? Doesn't matter. I mean, it does, but also, we're just gonna go with, what's the one here? A veteran?
Yeah, that is a veteran.
Just a veteran Dreadnought. Veteran Dreadnoughts are probably tired. They'd want to get in a gun and get crunched onto something. That sounds fun for them.
And they aren't irreplaceable like a Venerable.
Yeah.
Well...
If it's the Primaris Dreadnought, they're gonna burn out anyway.
The caption here says a Castroferum pattern Mark V Dreadnought.
Basically,
That
is
is a
that.
I don't know if that changes anything.
That is a straight middle down the road Dreadnought, my friend.
Yep. A Castroferum Mark V is basically just the middle of the road boy.
A Castroferum Mark V is when you go to an indie band and they get at a concert and you yell to play the hits.
Ugh. I think it's an A tier projectile. It's just a no nonsense good thing to crash into someone. It's got enough weird bumps to hurt on impact. It's heavy. It's very dense. It's got a fucking Space Marine in it. It's got weapons on it, and if you want them to fire. Okay, time for the real silly shit. Hey, Brobot, are you here? The Necrons are after this one. So here's a mech boy. An orc mech boy is basically just an orc who knows his way around machinery. Imagine throwing something that knows how to turn your goddamn bulkhead into a fucking avant-garde sculpture.
I think if you fired them at a fairly low velocity, like one that they could actually survive at, they'd be able to cling to the side of whatever you're firing them at, and then turn it into something else. It's like flinging saboteurs at stuff.
Yeah.
It's like how in World War II they thought that gremlins actually existed and would go around disassembling planes.
It's a limpet charge. You chuck it just gently enough to stick, and then it explodes everything.
But if you have to fire them at low velocity, that increases the probability of being able to shoot them down.
Solution: shoot it behind a bunch of orc boys. Or behind a devilfish. I think it's still okay. It's a circumstantial thing, but it's so powerful. I put it on B tier over C. Oh, thank you for the follow, Milky XT. Oh, me too. I would put it over on I'd put it over on B tier because it's better than C tier for like situational because you could excuse using it a lot more.
Okay. We'll put it B tier.
Also for like logistics, there's a shitload of them. Monolith. Okay.
It's firing a triangle that hates you, and can't monoliths teleport a little?
Yes.
Imagine firing a triangle that can teleport.
Imagine firing an arm. Okay. I honestly think a Necron monolith has to be S tier. I am having a sip. Wait, I have to Ara. Great.
Ara, mech boy, don't delete my ship.
Okay. Here's the thing. Monoliths are also forward operating bases. They're strong enough to survive impact. Imagine shooting a triangle that's covered in guns, that lodges itself in the enemy, and then just unleashes fucking silly little murder skeletons into them.
Have you ever played Star Wars Battlefront 2, the old one, Audire?
I have.
You know those mobile spawn points? It's like that, but it goes fast.
Okay.
It is indeed like launching the San Jacinto monument at someone. So I think it's automatically an S tier because also they can come back. Like all like Necron tech can just come back trademarked.
Alright. Speaking of Necrons, the next one is the Necron Immortal.
Ooh, a Necron Immortal. So here's the thing is that Necrons, despite them being foot soldiers, I still think that they're all going to be really good projectiles. Because they are, in the end, Terminators. They will slam into something. Also, the Immortals have like a double-barreled nightmare weapon that also has a fucking bayonet. So they have a bayonet to crash first into. They are shrapnel, right? And they'll just get poofed and repair. So you have a theoretically immortal, a high immortal, like not immortal, like a large infinity number of double-barreled murder laser-equipped bayonet stabbing crunchy skeleton boys, and the skeletons will leave dents. And their fucking guns will leave holes, and their bayonets will leave cuts. So I think that's a really good projectile.
Yeah, because they're very dense.
They are very dense.
They're kind of heavy for their size.
They are very crunchy. Also, they talk. So imagine if you're trying to scrape them off the side of your ship, and they're like, "Hey," and then they go, bzzz, and they're gone, and you know they're gonna be back.
So would you say A tier?
I think an Immortal is an S tier projectile, just like a fucking infantryman. And the reason I think they're S tier is that they are just a flat upgrade over the Necron Warrior, which on its own should be A tier.
They are barnacle.
Okay. I guess that settles the next one as well, since the next one is a Necron Warrior.
So yeah, the Necron, the Necron Warrior is basically just an Immortal you can shoot more of, and it's not as good.
Okay.
Like, yeah, they'll crunch and they'll prong and all that, and you have infinite of them, but it's not as fun to use them. But they're still a really smart thing to use, so there's no reason not to.
Alright, next one. An War Boss.
I'm gonna say something very controversial.
Hit me with the hard 20.
I'm gonna give the War Boss a D rank.
Really?
Here's why. You would never want to shoot a War Boss at something. War bosses are uniquely like set up to not need to get shot. They want to be shot. That's the thing. They want to be shot. They want to be shot so goddamn bad. But also, why would I waste a war boss on something? Whatever I could waste a war boss on, I have infinitely better projectiles. I could just throw more orcs. The cost of shooting a war boss at something and risking it getting mulched, because it is squishy. It's squishy even though it's covered in random machinery bits. I don't trust that fucker to come back. It would be a one and done, and then no other orcs would listen to me.
It takes everything that's good about orcs as a projectile and then removes them.
It's a massive force multiplier. You shoot a war boss out, and then you shoot a shitload of boys. All the boys are gonna be so happy to have a war boss fly in with them. But also, why? Why would I want to splatter such a useful fucking tool?
What you do instead?
Okay, but
Oh,
this is just evaluating them as ammunition, not any other.
Yeah,
Their uses outside of ammunition are not
true.
important here.
Okay. It's a bigger target. It's just as squishy. And it thinks that it's a better ammunition, but it doesn't automatically have something better to do. It's like shooting a general out of a gun.
So like C tier.
It's C tier at best.
It's gonna be better than Elder.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, we've had other reasons like morale boosting, which is why we think that shooting spikier sad Eldar is better. But I do think a war boss is just a waste of a bullet. It's like if you took a really pretty commemorative bullet you got from like an event and you shot it at a goddamn turkey.
I think he'd work better as a mechanism to load other orcs into the
Yeah,
gun.
I think it's better to use him to throw orcs in a gun than he is as a bullet.
I'm gonna put him C tier. We can disagree on this.
C
if you
tier,
want.
okay, fine. We'll put him on C tier.
What the fuck is that thing?
What the fuck is what thing?
That is a scourge, which is a dark Eldar thingy of some sort.
A Dark Eldar Scourge. Okay. They are technically guided projectiles, because we've said that wings means guided. They can carry lances, which are uniquely a little bit armor-piercing for the Dark Eldar. But they are squishy in the end. So it would be like a lot of... It would be a lot of guided pinpricks. Actually, I think that they would be B tier. They do have black hole guns as well. Okay, they also have black hole guns. So imagine a guided missile that can slam itself into like a nice armor-piercing projectile.
Which also might fuck with the actual ability of the opposing vehicles to like move
shoot.
around.
Yeah. They're utility, and I don't feel bad shooting them, and there's a lot of them.
And it's very funny.
It is funny when they
Okay,
go, the dark lances fire fucking dark matter. Yeah, it's armor piercing as hell. Okay, the next one is funny. Yee.
It's a Sentinel.
I'm gonna say that this is either a D or a C tier, because yeah, it's a decent thing to chuck at something, but also it'd be such a pain to shoot it. Okay, the thing about Sentinels is that if you'd want to shoot it as a projectile, you'd want to shoot them like lengthwise, and in that way none of their weapons are pointing at anything, and that's also where the armor isn't. But if you shot it like standing, then you just have like legs dangling, making it really gangly and hard to use. They also don't have much armor, so they're not very dense. They're meant to be like rapid deployment scout walkers after all. Like against smaller targets they're decent. But against anything else, you'd have to, like, excuse it. It's a C tier at best. Like, why would you shoot it?
I think it's still better than Eldar.
Yeah, it's better than Eldar, but at the same time, you'd have to, like, stretch it to use one.
It's a high C. It's still a C.
I think it's a low C, honestly.
It's a higher than Eldar C.
It's a high D, low C.
Because we just pretty much established D as the Eldar tier.
D is where Eldar go.
So, you just have to be better than Eldar.
I think we're gonna have to put Ultramarines on D. Just to fuck with everyone.
We'll get there.
We'll get there soon.
Yeah, so next one, I forget what this is.
It's a Tyrannid. It is not a Hive Tyrant. Is this a Swarm Lord? Oh, big boy. Big boy.
I see that it has 4 swords.
They don't have to have 4 swords, but the number one shown one does. Usually they have 4 bone swords that are electric and also armor piercing. They're also larger than a Hive Tyrant, if I recall correctly. Yeah, it's larger than a Hive Tyrant. It's based on a Hive Tyrant. They aren't as guided because they don't come with wings standard. I think you can get one with wings, but it's difficult. Yeah, you can have other weapons on them, other Swarmlord weapons. They could be winged, they could not. Yeah, they have 4 Bone Sabers standard. And they are armor piercing. It's a very large weapon. Imagine shooting a T-Rex that's psychic and also a blender at something. Have you ever wanted to chuck a ninja blender at something?
Sorry, thinking A or B tier.
Oh, can only have the Bone Sabers? Okay, I'm just getting my brain confused because the kit comes with other things for Hive Tyrants. I think it'd be A tier, just like a Hive Tyrant. Because I don't want to rank it lower. I think it's just as useful. It's just like an unguided fuck everything in this direction button.
Alright.
Like you take the Hive Tyrant and you have it guided and it's ready to go. Grrr, a Swarmlord always dies. Yeah. I don't need it to be a veteran if I'm just gonna say, hey, hold out your swords and spin. You don't need to think. You just need to spin. It's a Beyblade that hates you.
So a Beyblade.
I think my Beyblades like me.
My Beyblades are very ornery.
I'm so sorry.
The bit beasts are acted up.
Tau Supremacy Armor.
Alright. Yes.
Okay, so a Tau Nar Supremacy Armor. It's about as big as Tau weapons get.
It's the single largest Tau unit. It is the answer to Titans.
Oh, you're right. My brain was confusing it and the what's the big one with the stupid open top and the giant weapon? I don't recall its name. I'm getting them confused. I'm looking at
the
it right now.
railgun tank?
No. It's a walker. It's like a storm something.
Let's focus here.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. I was getting confused for a storm surge. Okay, so Supremacy Armor. Thank you. Supremacy Armor is big. It's still not that dense because it's Tau, but it is covered in giant fuck you weapons. And when it crashes into something, I think it would be angry enough to like detonate instantly.
It's also the only unit on this entire group, besides I guess Terminators, that have any kind of shielding that would allow it to protect itself on the way.
So it has shielding. It has 3 giant fuck off guns on its back. Both of its hands are big ol' fuck off like auto guns, and it's got missile launchers. It's like shooting a bullet that does it all, and it has thrusters.
Gun on the back would be able to like fire straight up if it was even like launched lengthwise.
When it's launched lengthwise, it has the back weapons that are pointing forward. After all, because they are pivoted.
They also can just vector to aim themselves.
They are Gundams after all. This is like shooting a Gundam at something.
It's like shooting a really large Gundam that hates you.
They could wait. They could also come with just the single giant fuck you railgun. That is an option now.
Yeah.
And that would just do the same job as the 3 big fuck you railguns, but harder.
I think the Tau as a faction are just uniquely suited to being chucked at stuff really hard.
Only if it's not just a Tau. I think that we should put this on S tier, just because it would be like such a treat to shoot. You'd always have an excuse for it, and it would probably survive for a while.
You could probably reuse them, depending on how they land.
If the shield stays up when they crash into something, you can probably reuse it. Just reload it and say, hey, buddy, you ready for more stabbing?
Okay.
I'm not biased as a Tau player. I don't think being useful as a projectile makes you a better faction.
Yeah. I'm glad that the Tau are decent at being projectiles.
I'm glad they're decent at something.
Oh.
Next up, the Imperator Titan.
Okay.
Are Imperator Titans still psychic?
I think they are. Imagine shooting a skyscraper at someone that's very mad and has guns that can level, like, fucking cities in, like, a shot. And it also has a giant fuck you shield.
Oh.
So...
Something I've been intending to ask. would void shields make something more effective as a projectile?
I think they would. I think they would, because then the thing would crash into the void shield, and then the void shield would smush it before it breaks, and when it breaks, it's catastrophic. Because then like it has like electric whiplash and shit. But I have one problem with shooting I have one problem with shooting an Emperor Titan. I would not feel bad shooting a battleship at something, because the battleship is like self-propelled. I would feel bad throwing something at something that can't land feet first. The Emperor Titan feels like chucking a very large, very angry person covered in nightmare weapons that is also extremely strong. I could excuse using it, but the logistics are a nightmare, because you need like a battleship to drop the fucker. And even then, I would just shoot the battleship at them. It's all the good of a battleship, but like without the the ramming prow, and without the like self-contained is convenient to use.
So you're thinking like, oh yeah, I think no, like they're not as reusable as the battleship would be either.
Yeah, it's like all the
And
fun
there's
of a
very limited
battleship, but you
supply.
waste it.
So like maybe D tier.
Yes, I think it's D tier, because then the Mechanicus would kill you in your sleep.
And then they won't make you more Beyblade to chuck.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna consider that part. I'm not too worried about the Mechanicus, honestly, but we'll put it in, say, B tier.
Where are you putting it?
I'm putting it in B tier.
I have mine in D tier where I don't want to use it, but I'll put it in B tier where it belongs. What's next? Tyrannid, it looks like...
It's trying not to let your personal bias enter too much.
I'm not letting my personal bias through. I'm just letting my bias as a fucking GW person through. There are only so many of them.
Alright. Next up is a Tyrannic Warrior.
Oh, just a little boy. Just a dog.
When you are a fucking puppy.
When you are a puppy with a gun. It's a little larger than a dog, actually. I say a little, it's pretty big. They're the most common type. They're not huge, but they're not small. They are very sharp, they have guns, and they are part of a hive mind. So theoretically, they should be about on par with like an orc boy for effectiveness. Okay, time to have a sippy and another. I hate that this is a redeemable tonight. I think that they'd just be A tier, because there's a lot of them, and you wouldn't have trouble shooting them out of a gun, and they'd be useful.
Audire, do you not know what an Audire is?
Oh my god.
I know that. I don't know what a sippy is.
Oh, a sip. I'm having a drink of water. My hydration has been procced.
I think I need... My tier list is growing too large, and I need to extend it down a bit.
I still think it belongs... Yeah, did you put it in A? I think he belongs in A.
Okay. Because it's kind of really similar to a orc.
Yeah, just because it's about as effective as a boy. Okay. Space
This
Marine.
Yep.
Space Marines are just
Okay.
strictly worse as projectiles than CSMs.
Okay. Are we gonna go based off just the picture, or based off specifically just the thing? Because the picture is an Ultramarine. It is a Ultramarine basic infantry unit. It is not a Primaris. It is just a basic good old blue boy. It's just a Smurf.
Tactical.
It is a tactical Marine.
Yeah. I think this is just a basic Ultramarine.
If it's an Ultramarine, good fucking luck getting them in the gun, because that sure ain't supported by the Codex. It's not.
This is not Codex compliant.
Yeah, this is not Codex compliant for them, and they will literally smack the book on you for it. It's a bullet
Like,
that
you could-
refuses to get shot.
You could do it, but my god, would they fight you on the way down?
And they wouldn't even be that great. They don't have spikes for impact damage. It's ultramarine, so they don't have like they don't have like anything special. They're just gonna whine the whole time.
They don't think exploding on impact is dignified?
What if it was a white scar? It's not a white scar. It's a boring old Smurf.
Okay, so here's the question. Is it better than an Eldar?
Yes, it's better than an Eldar.
It's better than an Eldar, but it's more annoying to shoot.
Okay.
Would you rather fight with your bullet to get in the magazine? Or would you rather just like rapid fire silly little elves at things?
Ooh, we're talking about effectiveness though.
Effectiveness, they would not want to be effective. They would crunch on target and then they would be upset.
Eldar would fight you too. You would not want to get shot too.
Yeah, and
They
Eldar also
don't.
sucks
Yeah,
projectiles.
they all suck. They have the same problems. That's why they work together. But the Marine does have more bulk.
Yeah, I think I'm putting this one in C tier.
C tier. Okay,
To the
librarian.
Eldar,
Is that a librarian or a Green Knight?
I think it's supposed to be a librarian because on the list we have a librarian.
Gotcha.
Which means that this is gonna
Yes,
okay.
the librarian.
Okay, the librarian doesn't have the same problems as a regular space marine. The librarian would not mind being shot because he is a psychic nightmare. Also, everyone else probably wants to fling the psychic nightmare at something. So it's a very willing bullet. And it has the same like power armor. It doesn't have spikes, but it's usually a little better than standard because it's, you know, a librarian, so it's an elite unit. And it's got psychic powers. And it carries an armor-piercing weapon. So it has AoE, it has armor-piercing, and it's willing to get shot.
You're not going to get a lot of them.
That's a B tier, because there are not that many of them, but they're willing to do it.
Why are librarians willing to do it?
They're crazy.
It would be pretty effective, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Having an armor-piercing AoE shell that is like more than happy to hop in there, but you only get so many of them.
Okay.
That's like a B tier unit.
So B tier it is.
This is actually a really even distribution.
Yeah. The thing is that a lot of things in Warhammer make a really good bullet. And there's a lot of things that make a really bad one. If it were up to me, I would have... If it were up to me, I would have put the Wyvern Suppression Tank on this list and slapped it up on fucking S tier. Because it's my favorite unit in the game, and also it would make an excellent projectile, and that it is a crunchy tank, and it's covered in like rapid fire explosives. So imagine having a gun that just shoots constant grenades at something. I can dream.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. I'm gonna go see who's online for the raid, because I think we're just at the tail end of this.
Hi.
Because I know that
Yeah,
you have to... Ooh, Omega is online.
Then
There's
was
also
the
Jack.
last unit. So we're done.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually going to raid Paimon.
Alright.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you for having us here. I think we're going to raid
Thank
Paimon,
you.
actually, because I feel like I haven't given him a hello in a while. So, everyone, we're going to... Thank you for coming, everyone. We're going to go raid Paimon. Tell him, you remember, I'll always copy-paste Tiger Raid in chat. Use a couple of my hecking emotes. We're getting more soon. And as soon as we're ready, I'll shoot us all off there. And that's in 2, 1. Good night, everyone! Bam!
Bye, Audire.
Bye, Audire.